Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Omega Mondays on a Tuesday. It's August 3rd. I'm Rebekah Mosley, co-founder of laughingplace.com, and with me is our editorial content director for all things Star Wars, Mike Celestino. Hey, Mike.
Hello.
Oh, I'm excited because we're going to be talking a little bit about the Galactic Starcruiser today, and I haven't been able to watch that video yet that was out there, so I'm excited to talk to you about that. But first, we're going to start off with a discussion of Friday's episode of The Bad Batch entitled War-Mantle. What do you think of this week's episode, Mike?
Okay. This episode answered a question I feel like people have been asking since the prequels came out, which is why are there clone troopers in the prequel era and stormtroopers in the original trilogy era? So this kind of bridged the gap between those two things finally. But I would say that outside of that information, which we all kind of had figured out already on our own, the episode just kind of felt like a delivery system for that info. Other than that, I thought it was fine. I mean, I liked the music actually because the music was lifted almost entirely from the original Star Wars film when they're running around the hallways shooting at people in the Death Star.
No, it's funny you mentioned the music because that's really what kind of stands out to me as far as the episode goes. I have to admit, this is one of the first episodes where I checked out. I did. I totally checked out on it.
I kind of felt that same way, and I think it's because like we kind of guessed this already,
mm-hmm.
I think people had pointed out that they had covered this in some of the Legends material as well. The fact that the clones were brought in to train the new generation of stormtroopers. It's one of those things where they're telling us something that we already kind of knew, but just hadn't been represented on screen yet. So I guess it's there now. We've gotten past it. It doesn't need to be said again.
I did enjoy the bit about the not enjoy, but appreciated the little bit of the storyline with the Kaminoans, where you have kind of the interplay with the politics and the seeming betrayal. The reality where the one was like, the Empire is not like the Republic. They won't just let us go about our business. Once they're done with us, they're going to destroy us, and I thought that was like just a little bit more insight kind of into the politics of the time. I'm intrigued by this, by where they left us in the episode, because this is a rescue mission, this week's episode, and they are going to save a friend. And they actually Omega convinces them to kind of abandon this paid mission that they're on to go save a friend. And but in the midst of this, right, the rescue doesn't go as planned, and they end up having to leave Hunter behind. And I'm interested. I feel like they've left Hunter behind for a reason, and
Right.
I'm interested to see where the story goes from there. Why is it Hunter? You feel like they're setting up kind of a Hunter Crosshair scenario, and so how will that play out in the next episodes?
Yeah, I think this is definitely leading into the final 2 episodes of the season. Obviously, they're setting up, like you said, the conflict between Hunter and Crosshair. I think, and I think the obvious kind of thing is that they're doing the opposite of what we expected, which is instead of taking out Crosshair's chip, they're going to be putting a chip back into Hunter.
Oh, I hadn't even thought hadn't even crossed my mind. Wow. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
That's intense.
I was like, okay, that's where they're going.
No, that makes once you say it, it makes total sense to me. But the thought I hadn't kind of processed where we could go with this storyline. Oh wow, okay. So
I mean, it may end with the season may wrap up with them finally getting the chip out of Crosshair, but I think this next episode is going to be Hunter first going bad again before. I don't know.
You think it'll get that far? See, I'm wondering if you'll end up with some sort of conscience battle on whether or not to impose this upon him kind of scenario within Crosshair. Like maybe this will be finally what kind of helps trigger him or something. So
the other thing is too, is like they've kind of been exploring this theme of like free will among the clones. So I wonder if they'll put the chip back in Hunter and then he's able to fight, use his willpower to fight against the programming or whatever. And that can kind of prove that the clones are able to think on their own.
Make a choice.
Yeah.
That is it. Yeah, they could go, like I say, it looks like they could go a few different ways with this, and leaving Hunter behind is clearly meant to be that little kernel, to kind of propel the story in the next few episodes. So we'll see where it goes. Let's see. This week, Mike, you have some new comics. Are we ready to move on and talk about those?
Sure. Yeah. High Republic is great as always. This is part 2 of the current arc, which is the second arc of this series, and it's all like a lot of Force visions in this issue. So they are trying to eliminate the Drengir, who are these sentient plant creatures, and this Jedi Knight, whose name is Keeve Trennis, she's she kind of bonded with what they call the root mind of the Drengir, which is like the hive mind. And at the beginning of the issue, she's like trapped in that like psychic landscape. But then she has all these different visions, and she meets this other Jedi who's this kind of mysterious character named, what is her name? I forget. But she also encounters what appears to be a Sith Lord of some kind, which is very interesting because, as you know, in this period, there aren't any Sith around. But in the vision, she does meet that Jedi, and that Jedi turns out to be a real character that she meets later. So I guess the implication is there may be Sith around that we just haven't met yet, or maybe hidden away somewhere in the galaxy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. And then they're also like tying everything back into that weird space station that we visited in the Claudia Gray novel Into the Dark, and it was also in The Rise of Kylo Ren.
Is that a Maxine?
Yes.
A Maxine station?
Exactly. She gets as part of her vision, this character shows her the space station again. So I'm very intrigued by that space station in particular, because as we know, like later in the timeline, Snoke is using it as his base, and it's built as this kind of barrier against the dark side.
Oops. Sorry, didn't intend to do that.
Oh yeah, there you go. You got the images going there. But yeah, I really like this issue. I think this has become the comic that I look forward to the most of all the current Star Wars comics. The High Republic one by Kevin Scott it's pretty great. The art is really good. I'm really into the characters. This one has a really I just flipped to the last page. I don't want to show it because it's kind of a big spoiler, like cliffhanger. But yeah, it has like a big question mark at the end, like what's really going on here. So I'm very curious to continue that.
I know Laughing Place is live, and I know there's a lot of various Disney stories out there, and I just want to tell you, stay tuned to Laughing Place YouTube, because we're going to have a variety of content throughout the day discussing the Disney news. Currently, this is Star Wars headlines, and just wanted to put that out there because I know people might be dropping by as various Disney news stories begin to trickle out there right now. I know the Disneyland resort news is expected in about an hour, and we'll be chatting about it once we've got information to share with you. Next up, Mike, is the War of the Bounty Hunters, the Star Wars number 15. Yeah,
I was actually kind of frustrated by this issue because it is marketed as part of War of the Bounty Hunters. They do touch on that. It does overlap with it a little bit, but the bulk of this issue is Luke Skywalker and Wedge Antilles going on a mission and kind of picking up a thread that was happening in previous issues of this comic before War of the Bounty Hunters had started.
Wait, I thought it's a rule that you're not allowed to complain about anything that brings back Luke and Wedge. That's just like, that's like the ultimate.
I mean, that's fair enough. I've complained in the past that they put Luke on the cover and Luke wasn't in the issue, but Luke is definitely in this issue. It is mostly about him and Wedge, and it's a big space battle through most of it, which is fine and fun for Star Wars. But the War of the Bounty Hunters, the ball is rolling now, and I'm like invested in that story, and this is supposed to be part of it. It's big on the top here, and it's not. It really isn't. Like it ends in the same place again that the War of the Bounty Hunters #2 miniseries issue ended, with everybody arriving at this auction. And he's like, oh, well, what's going to happen when Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker see each other at this auction? That's really the cliffhanger at the end here. And then we check in like for a page with Leia and Lando and Chewbacca at the auction. But this is a different perspective of something we saw in the other issues. So I don't know. I got frustrated by it.
I want to put you on Solo because what's Leia got on there? It looks kind of like her Hoth outfit, but
yeah, she's been wearing like a
general.
Yeah, she's wearing like a variation on her Hoth outfit in these latest issues. Okay. I mean, it's good. It's fine. The way they resolved this battle, I thought was a little silly. Like they had this Star Destroyer was parked above this active volcano, and all they had to do was like blow up the volcano, and it took out the Star Destroyer, which I thought was like, why wouldn't the Empire realize that was a mistake? You know.
The one of the pages where they've shared the artwork and we've posted it on Live in Place. This panel right here, it talks about how they had a few. This pilot is talking about having had a few drinks with Kes Dameron.
Yes.
Is that like a name that's been out there and I just don't know it, or is this a way of kind of weaving the Luke and Wedge into kind of that the names connected with the Force Awakens? Because I mean, I know Poe Dameron. So.
Yeah, so Kes Dameron was introduced in Star Wars Shattered Empire, which is a comic book that came out around the same time as The Force Awakens, and it takes place after Return of the Jedi. So we met Kes Dameron and Shara Bay, who are Poe's parents.
Okay.
And then now they've rewound time a little bit, and we're between Empire and Jedi, and they are regular characters in this comic. The main Star Wars comic is about Luke, Leia, and trying to rescue Han with the help of Lando and Chewbacca, obviously. But we also check in with Kes Dameron and Shara Bay, who are, I think one of them's a pilot. Shara Bay is a pilot, and Kes Dameron's like a technician working for the rebellion. So they are regular characters in this comic.
No, so we get a little bit more of a kind of a family tree of Poe with these with these comics. I had not made that connection yet, so that's cool. Moving on to the audio book world, Star Wars High Republic title The Tempest. Oh, sorry, Tempest Runner.
Yeah, so this is another High Republic tie-in that's coming, written by Kevin Scott, again, great writer, who I've had the pleasure of interviewing. And it's an audio drama / audio book, but it's got a full cast, and they've now announced the cast. I think if you scroll down there, it's got there we go, the full list of cast members there. Nobody that really jumped out to me. I know Mark Thompson does a lot of the Star Wars novels as the narrator, and he's in there somewhere as somebody. But
Pan Ita and Skier and Marcion Rowe.
Yeah, Skier is my favorite High Republic character. He's the Trandoshan Jedi.
So this title is going to be interesting in that this is going to be the first time that these characters will be given unique voices, because like you say, Mark Thompson has done a lot of like audio books, but these aren't characters that we have on TV, on film, and that type of thing. So it's really going to kind of flesh out more of who the creators intend these personas to be, because you fill in a bit on your own.
Yeah.
But this can further shape that.
Yeah, it will be interesting for that reason. We've read about them in the novels. We've seen them in the comics and read about them there too, but we haven't
Oh,
heard their voices yet. So
Zach has chimed in, and I'm
oh,
sorry if I missed this earlier, but saying that we also learned in the recent Bad Batch that the
yeah,
Gregor taught them their bad aim. So,
yeah, that's pretty funny.
there you go.
Of all the things that needed explaining, I don't know if that was one of them, but it's a Star Wars tradition. You gotta over-explain where everything came from. So yeah.
It is. And Zach, we talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the episode. So if you're able to, hit a rewind later on, you can check out and find out what we think is the storyline for these upcoming episodes. Over the past week, let's see, just a few days ago, a group of Imagineers offered a discussion of the Galactic Starcruisers, a video, and Mike and the team at LP did a little synopsis of it. What are some of the things we learned, Mike?
I think the big thing that most people are going to be excited about is the reveal. At least I don't think they've said this before. I could be mistaken, but the reveal that you can wear full costume and full makeup, which was totally surprising to me because you can't go into the parks dressed as, you can Disney bound or whatever as a Batuan, but you can't go as a Twi'lek, which was the specific thing that Scott Trowbridge cited. It was like, if you want to come as a Twi'lek, you can. So you have the full head tails and the green skin, your full costume. You can really cosplay at the hotel, at the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. The question, I mean, we have a lot of questions about how this is going to work, but part of the experience is going into the park. Can you still retain your character at that point? You have to take off that makeup. That's a big question that I have. And then we were discussing can you come and go to the park as you please? Because in the story, you're traveling on this cruise ship, Starship, and you arrive at Batu and you go down on this excursion like you would on a Disney cruise or whatever. You stop at Jamaica or something,
right?
But this time it's Batu. So can you come and go as you please? Obviously, they can't restrain you and keep you inside that building if you don't want to stay there. But at the same time, if you're paying the premium to stay at the Galactic Starcruiser, aren't you going to want to stay in there as much as possible? I don't know. There's a lot of questions that I have about this experience, but that's a really good informative video that had some great tidbits here and there from the Imagineering team.
Yeah, it runs about 20 minutes. It's on YouTube. There's a couple of synopses available on Laughing Place. We'll have links below. For those of you who don't watch Disney Trivia Live, you'll know that Emperor Palpatine showed up there. So Doobie, who is the host of Disney Trivia, wonders maybe Palpatine will make his way over, to the Halcyon. So,
I mean, that costume only came down to about here, so I don't know if it's gonna work as well.
But hearing the door is open to the full costume, it really makes me think that I would want to book this while 501st is there or something, because it feels like, can you just imagine if you went at a time when the majority of people are kind of heavily cosplay, you can really lose yourself aboard the
yeah, and they really made a point to emphasize over and over again. I want to say half a dozen times Scott Trowbridge said this, you can choose how much you want to interact. If you just want to sit back, you can dress as you normally dress. You can come sit back and watch everything unfold, or you can go all in, wear the costume, interact, take part in everything, all the little, he called them scavenger hunts. When you go down to Batu, this is something I had a big question about as well, was how is it different when you go to Galaxy's Edge as part of this experience rather than just visiting as a normal guest? So he did talk about that, how you'll meet characters on the ship and those same characters will carry over to your visit to Batu and you'll interact with them there. They'll give you tasks to complete, missions to carry out and stuff like that. I lost my train of thought. Where did I start that?
You're speaking about the uniqueness of Batu within these.
Yeah, but also saying how invested you want to be in the experience is really up to you, which I think is great. But like you're saying, if you happen to get a 2-3 day span where it's full of Star Wars fans, like maybe around the time of Celebration, if that happened again in Orlando, like day or two after that, you know, it's going to be full of like hardcore Star Wars fans, and everybody's going to make it like really super immersive. I think that would be probably the ultimate version of that experience.
And then when he was talking about they talked a bit about the lightsaber experience, and they really made it feel like you're going to, you know, be interactively utilizing your lightsaber. It isn't. It's a step above, you know, well above the kinds of things we've seen before. So I don't. It was very to me, it was very exciting. They still haven't dropped any hints about what I would want to experience aboard the Galactic Starcruiser, and that would be, I would like to rent a droid for a few days. I would like to have my own personal little astromech, you know, following me around, beeping and twerping and all kinds of little.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
That would be my wish. So,
and
but then again, I'm thinking, you know, I have the money to go on the Halcyon to begin with. So,
yeah, I think one of the complaints that have come up, and kind of my own little nitpick about all this, is that we were promised a lot of this same kind of stuff for Galaxy's Edge itself, especially with the immersive theater aspect, which they actually used the term immersive theater in this video, which was surprising to me because I haven't heard them say that before about anything tied to Galaxy's Edge. But this is, you know, that's what this Galactic Starcruiser is all about. You're really immersing yourself in this world where you know, Star Wars is going to be acted out around you, and you can participate as much as you want. But now I forgot where I was going with that as well.
You were talking about you were talking about how they keep focusing on they keep offering you this. They're talking about immersive theater, and it's exciting that it's coming to the Halcyon, but I think that you're disappointed that there isn't more of it on Batuu.
Yeah, and stuff that I've heard Scott Trowbridge say before about Galaxy's Edge, about the immersive nature, the roaming droids, the aliens walking around and stuff. This is all stuff that we were expecting for Galaxy's Edge, the bounty hunters on your tail or whatever. This never really materialized in the way that I was hoping for, but now it's cool / kind of unfortunate that it's going to be this what would you call it, premium experience that you have to pay a whole bunch extra for as part of that. So I don't know. I'm curious to experience it.
But perhaps this will give them kind of a canvas that then they will be able to bring it to maybe not quite as premium an experience on Batuu itself. You know, it might be an additional, but maybe not. Because my suspicion, based upon the way the language has been within this, is maybe immersive theater is not a broad audience appeal. Am I saying that right? Because it's one thing to pay the money and to go to this hotel and to invest yourself in this immersive theater experience, knowing that you're doing it. But as like a day guest in the park, you know, perhaps that isn't really the proper marketplace for an immersive. Maybe they're discovering that isn't quite as appealing to the day guest and immersive theater. So perhaps this experience being on board ship, maybe they'll be able to bring it kind of an evening hours or a morning hours event within Batuu that you can opt into, as opposed to kind of, because I'll be honest, immersive theater, not my thing. I like entertainment over there. I like to have my personal space be my personal space. But
I can understand that.
But I enjoy I enjoy watching other people enjoy immersive theater. I just don't want to have to participate. So I mean, I will fess up that I downloaded the StarPad thing, the data pad, and I would play with it for a little bit, and then I would totally shut off my phone, because I was worried that because I had engaged with the data pad, I would be inviting interactions with the minimal stormtroopers I did see. And I didn't want that kind of level of interaction. So I would go as far as to totally shut down my phone.
Yeah, that never happened.
No, it never materialized. Not at all. But it's funny because whenever Scott Trowbridge and the Imagineers talk and like reassure people about their level of participation in or not with immersive theater, all of our team at Laughing Place, in essence, call it the Rebekah clause. Because it's like, oh, making sure Rebekah knows she doesn't have to opt in. So it's I'm excited to see what this brings. I mean, it's very different. So we shall see. We shall see.
I am very curious about it as well.
Speaking of different, this image is not what I'm used to seeing when it comes to Lego Star Wars, especially. Do you know a little bit about this, Mike?
I know a little bit. Obviously, we had the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special last year, and now they're doing, looks like a Halloween special. So I know it's about somebody, Poe Dameron, going to Exegol and interacting with some villains and stuff. But I thought that Holiday Special was okay, pretty fun enough, and I think this will be fun too. But it's all kind of like silly and it's not really tied to the main canon at all. Exactly. But it's just having some silly fun with Star Wars and Lego, and that's always welcome.
And it's coming October 1st, so just as we begin to enter that Halloween season, the Lego Star Wars universe is bringing you some terrifying tales, as they're describing them. Over in the world of Lego, we've got the Mandalorian Forge set coming to Target.
Oh boy, yeah. So the one came out the other day, August 1st, called the Transport. I don't remember the exact name, but it was the one with Grief Karga, and it has like a few stormtroopers. So I'm gonna pick that one up. Right. But this one, I'm debating whether I want it. It's got the Armorer and the Heavy Mandalorian, so I guess it's worth getting. I just don't know how many Din Djarin figures I really need, you know.
And here's an image of the few pieces that have been out specifically for the Mandalorian. But if you need a little 360 view of this set,
I didn't notice that.
Did you see the Mythosaur?
Yeah, I just noticed that.
Yeah, that's a nice little piece too.
I wonder if that's a sticker or a printed piece.
See, there you go.
Hotly debated among Lego fans, which is better.
What camp? Yeah. I would as a mother who's had to struggle with those stickers, I fall into the printed camp.
Oh yeah, most people tend to prefer the printed.
Oh. Especially because I'm the one who really bothers when when the stickers aren't lined up just right. It really irks me. I see it forever. Oh, but then I see how the Cinderella Castle looks at Disney World, and I give myself a little bit of space. That Heavy Mandalorian Pack Vizsla. Okay.
Yeah, so Jon Favreau voiced the character in the Clone Wars named Pre-Vizsla, which is a joke about visual effects and storyboards and stuff. But now the whole Vizsla family is played by Jon Favreau, because this is one of his descendants, obviously, that Favreau plays in The Mandalorian.
And over from the team at Hasbro, they're bringing a new collection of lightsabers called the Lightsaber Forge. Seems to be somewhat customizable in a way. So you have the Lightsaber Forge Bladesmith lightsaber assortment, and you have a collection of hilts and saber to have fun building your own.
And one of them looks like the dark saber, right?
Yes.
So is that compatible with the other ones that are like cylindrical? I don't know.
It seems that the hilt, you have a blade, a cap, a cover, a core to create a lightsaber. It seems like you would be able to use different blades with caps and that kind of element. They have what they call the entry-level lightsaber assortment, which they have Ahsoka's hilt. So, and then varying blades, and then the Darth Maul. And so once again, you would have this hilt, but then perhaps varying blades. So a red and a blue blade. So what I'm unsure of is how interchangeable these are within each other.
Right.
Like what you're asking with the dark saber, be able to be on, say, the Ahsoka Tano looking situation. So that I will have to investigate more. But for now, I know that within each hilt, you can craft your own lightsaber with a variety of blades and such. Kind of reminds me of what they have at the exit of Star Tours at Disney World. They used to have it at the exit of Disneyland as well, but I don't know. It was like a relatively inexpensive way for kids to be able to build a lightsaber.
I think that's still there.
Various things. Let's see. And Star Wars back to school items over here at Laughing Place. We've gathered up a collection of various Star Wars related backpacks and notepads and other items as you get ready to go back to school. If you're looking for things specifically within the world of Star Wars, those links will be here below. We get a small affiliate portion if you purchase through Laughing Place. We greatly appreciate that. It supports our various videos and other items we produce here at Laughing Place. But a lot of little goodies here. As you know, Mike, I was very much taken with the quality and the variety of options available from the Erin Condren group. We've talked to them at length. Let's see. Zach is saying he saw some Mando and some Baby Yoda stuff, and he's still waiting on Bad Batch. Yeah, I'm wondering when we'll start to, if and when we'll start to see a bit more Bad Batch. I don't feel like it's grabbed the same kind of society attention that Mandalorian has. So I'm not expecting quite as full shelves, I guess would be the word.
I guess there's something about live action. People are just people are more invested in live action for whatever psychological reason that is. Like, it just feels more real, I guess.
I know you tend to be in the camp of like, you prefer like the real Star Wars. Like, you're not inclined to the, kind of artistic representation of some Star Wars character on your shirt, or, the Blue Milk Company, or, that kind of thing. You're like authentic representation. But I want to know what you think of this one. It's a T-shirt of the figures that have, been treasured over the years. It has I find your lack of faith disturbing along the bottom.
That's a nice shirt. I like the Rancor in the background there.
The Rancor's pretty cool. Yeah.
I haven't bought a lot of shirts with action figures on them. I've seen them, and I think I got one as a gift, but why don't I want? I don't know. I'm not sure why, but it's just not my thing. I collect the action figures, and I have a lot of Star Wars shirts. I don't know why I don't want to.
Why the
shirts don't need the toys on them? I don't know.
And then continuing a little bit with a look at merchandise, over at Heroes and Villains, I spotted this what I think is stunning hoodie. You have the Yoda fountain that is at the Lucasfilm location here in San Francisco, with the 50th anniversary logo. And then on the front of the shirt, you have the very simple but elegant Lucasfilm logo. So that's in honor of the 50th anniversary of Lucasfilm. And to this morning, before we came on, Rock Love unveiled the next two lightsaber pendants. These are going to be for sale in 2 weeks, I think, like August 17th. We have Rey and Kylo Ren. So now we have 4 of the 8 unveiled over at Rock Love. So just wanted to be sure you knew about that. But what is on my shopping list right now, and I had it in my cart and I didn't click buy, is an R2-D2 Tamagotchi.
Yeah, so I think we had gotten this announcement before. We just didn't see what it looked like yet, and now we've got the pictures.
Yeah, and this is retailing for $20 over at Entertainment Earth. There's actually several different I'm sorry, $21. There's actually a couple of different ones you can purchase. There's a white casing, or then there's one that's kind of a blue, kind of shimmering case for the digital pet. Among the features that I thought were quite cute, it has a couple of games, and one of them is based loosely on the chess game, which has a name now.
Dejarik.
Thank you. That's on here. If you care for your little digital friend properly, you may enjoy visits from Boba Fett, some Ewoks, Yoda. There's some interaction where you can end up dealing with like starships. So, a nice little fun throwback to a toy long forgotten. Did you ever have one for real back in the day, Mike?
I was going to ask you, do you remember how much they cost in the 90s?
I don't. I feel like it's a very similar.
That's what I was going to say. Like I was, when you said the price, I was surprised because I would have guessed they were $20 in like the mid 90s, which means they would be like $40 now, but it seems like they're charging probably about the same, which is surprising to me.
They're keeping it very much within that same price range. But yeah, I'm excited about the return of this little gadget. Like I say, I'll be honest, I wonder if I'd be more inclined to purchase it as an app on my phone than to have another thing to kind of carry around.
And does it go around your wrist? Is it like a watch, or I've never had one.
It's like a keychain fob. Like,
oh right, yeah, okay.
That it's about that size. And so I remember I used to have one hanging from my purse. And so every once in a while you check in on it, and you have to, like, if you don't clean it enough, then it would get its health deteriorates. So you have to take care of it or it dies. I don't know what the version of dying is for R2-D2.
Well, he just falls over. He goes.
I feel so bad. He survived the many, many wars, but not being cared for by Rebekah or R2. And you can even be visited by sand people. That's another of the little digital friends that will come visit your R2 unit if he needs friendship. So that's over at Entertainment Earth. Is pre-order right now, expected to ship in around the holiday season. So stocking stuffer, if you have some young people in your life, this would be a fun little stocking stuffer idea. It's a different kind of thing. So finally, on Who's the Bossk Pod, Mike is talking about Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yeah, we had Jeremiah. Our pal Jeremiah was back on the show, and we talked about Last Crusade, which he chose of all the 44 Lucasfilm projects I'm talking about this year for the 50th anniversary. He chose Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which is also one of my favorite films. Enjoy it very much. And we also covered the attractions, Indiana Jones attractions at all the different parks.
Yes, because as those who follow Laughing Place know, Jeremiah is heavily teased by our team for being a global Disney traveler. And so you can't have Jeremiah come talk about something Disney parks related and not be sure that he shares his global knowledge. I also know he's a diehard Disney land fan as well, so I'm sure he had some interesting tidbits and insights on the attraction there. So very fun. Nice. I'm excited. I'm going to be able to come fairly soon, just a couple of weeks, and we'll be talking Indiana Jones Chronicles. So I've been having fun rewatching that.
I have not seen a second of that show since I watched it when it was on.
Me either.
And I bought the DVDs like you did, and I'm going to be, this weekend, I'm going to be marathoning as much as I can get through on Saturday and Sunday. So I don't know how many that's going to be, but I'm very curious to see how it holds up.
And it also is now, since I looked for it on streaming services and it wasn't available, it is now on Paramount Plus.
Right.
So if this conversation sparks your interest and you're like, hey, Indiana Jones Chronicles, you can go check it out over on Paramount Plus, and then Mike and I will be chatting about it in a couple of weeks. But right now you can enjoy lots of fun with Jeremiah and Mike about the Last Crusade and Indiana Jones attractions at Disney parks. So that's it for us here at Star Wars Headlines Omega Tuesday. In a little while, stay tuned here at Laughing Place. I'm sure we'll be talking about various Disney news that's out and about, happening all around us. And then at 4 o'clock, I'll be back with Barely Necessities. We'll be talking about all things Disney merchandise. I'm sure a little bit of Star Wars will be in there because of this Rock Love announcement, but I know a lot of back to school items will be on the agenda, along with my sensational 7, which this week is an entertaining little potpourri of Disney items. So looking forward to seeing you all then. We'll see you next time here on Star Wars Headlines. Thanks for joining us.
2 Omega Mondays left.
Woohoo! Only 2 left.
Yeah.
That's exciting. And then on to the next.
Yeah, that's Star Wars Visions is the next thing, and then eventually Boba Fett.
Yep, always lots going on. So we'll see y'all real soon.